Hi, welcome to the edition of the Slow Stitching Stitch Along where we're actually going to make the journal. Yes, it's going to be great. We've had a great time doing all our slow stitching, at least I hope you have. I hope you found it really relaxing and allowed you to just get in the moment, because that really is the point of it, as well as making a beautiful journal cover. So let's think back to week 1. I showed you a journal just like this one, and we said, yeah, let's get going, let's make ours. Well, we're actually going to make it a reality today. So you can do it all by hand, or as I'm going to show you in the video, you can do it on the sewing machine. It's entirely up to you. And I'll talk about that as we get along with it. So let's get started. And then at the end, let's have a look at the completed journal.
So by now you've got your beautiful cover all completed and ready to go. And we're now looking at that big lining piece that we cut out right at the beginning, which was the width of the cover plus 8 inches and the height of the cover plus 1.5 inches. And so your cover just fits nicely in the middle of it. So you remember it sticks out quite a long way, good 4 inches either side. So what you're going to do is turn your journal cover face down so that you've got the two right sides together. And that's how we're going to sew. So to start with, we're going to sew either side of your journal cover. So you're going to make a very short, fat tube if it looks anything like mine. So just move the journal cover to one end and just pin or clip those two edges together, because we're going to sew them together in a moment. And then we're going to do the same at the other end. Now obviously they don't lie flat together because one of them's a lot longer than the other. And it doesn't matter. You'll see in a bit that that's exactly how we're going to get our little pockets to hold it in place. So again, just clip or pin this end. Now we're going to sew these seams on the machine, which is not slow stitching, but you are more than welcome to do backstitch seams by hand if that's what you want to do. If you want to make the whole project slow stitching and just keep that vibe for a little bit longer, then please do. You just need a small backstitch and it's just the same as using your sewing machine. But I've taken mine over to the machine and I'm just going to start at one end, do a few stitches, little reverse, and then run along that seam. So I'm probably doing about 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit more for my seam allowance. I am terrible for not being particularly precise with these things, but I did allow plenty at the start of this project, so I don't think we need to worry too much, but about 1/4 inch. And then once you've sewn one, you're just going to turn the whole thing round and sew the other seam in exactly the same way. So with all your seams, just make sure you do that reversing at the start and at the finish, just to secure them. We don't want anything unravelling later. And you'll notice I always cut my threads off. I know some people don't. They say, oh, they'll be hidden inside, it won't matter. I just think they get caught, they make a mess, and nobody needs it. So we've got a tube that looks just like this. And now what we need to do is to make sure that bit of lining fabric at either side is exactly the same size, because they're going to form the slip pockets. So mine, just over 2 inches. And it is literally a tiny touch over 2 inches. So I'll check the other end. And just keep doing this and tweaking it until you've got the same at either end. And then once you're happy, pin it or clip it in place. And then do the same at the other end so that you get this secured and you're happy. And just make sure everything's lying flat. And then once you've just pinned or clipped those seams down there, and you'll notice I've just put the seam allowance pressing out onto the lining section, double check. You'll see that's what I'm doing now. Yeah, happy. Okay. Then we need to think about the other end. So measure at the bottom, not just at the top, and then just clip those. And I do recommend, you're going to say, well, they're bound to be the same. It's worth taking a moment in my experience, so you don't end up with things a little bit squiffy. And you'll see I've just got a little bit sticking out there. Obviously it wasn't cut very accurately. I've just trimmed it off. and then pin or clip all the way along. Now you'll notice I'm using some big clips. That's to mark the space I'm going to leave for turning out. If you sew all the way along the top and all the way along the bottom, we've got a problem. So you're going to sew all the way along one side, and the other side you're going to leave a gap that's open to turn it through. I'm leaving a few inches. For you, it's entirely up to you. Just take a moment to put your book on your fabric and check the height, and that'll determine how wide you want that seam that you're about to sew. So for all, I'm going to do mine quite small, probably about 1/4 of an inch, and leave quite a big cover. If you want it a very snug fit, you're going to have to be bold and make your seams a little bit bigger. But you'll see, I want mine so that it's not that snug. The diary that I made, it's very snug. I didn't want this one quite as snug. So you'll see that I've done a bit of reverse, and now I'm just sewing down, making sure that seam allowance stayed down to there. Oh no, brain overload, I've gone too far. I just get carried away. I can't be the only person who goes to the sewing machine and once they start, they just go whee right down the seam. Brain goes out the window and they find themselves sewing up the hole that they were meant to leave. But because there's plenty of space, it just means my hole's moving along a bit. So I'll now start again a little bit beyond that big clip, because otherwise my hole will be very small. I like to keep mine a few inches, as I say. I'd rather have a little bit too big a hole than too small and not be able to get it through. It doesn't do anything any good when you're forcing it through a tiny hole. So then I'm just going to do exactly the same again. Bit of a reverse, carry on down the seam till I get to the end. And then when you get to the other end, just do your reverse. What I mean is, when you turn it round to do the other side, it's easier this time because you're just whizzing along the whole thing. The only thing you just need to keep an eye is, in case you've any embellishments near the edge, you don't want to catch them with your machine needle. So do just check before you set off. Nobody needs to catch a bead or a button. It's not pretty. And then it's back to the desk. So before you turn anything out, cut off any threads, and then each of your 4 corners you want to cut off some bulk. Now be very careful doing this. You don't want to cut your seams, but it is worth just taking a moment to cut a little bit of that extra seam off. It does just make for a much nicer corner. So just do all 4. And then if you've anything sticking out, any of your rick-rack ribbon, fabric, anything, you can always trim that off at this point, and then turn the whole lot out. And to get a nice corner, make sure you use something that's not too sharp, but is pointy enough to go into the corner. Now you'll see I'm using my trusty chopstick that I keep just for this purpose. It lives in my sewing drawer. Pops out just for these things, and you're just going to get a nice corner. So you can see how that's looking now. At this point, you've got that hole. You're going to just fold in those edges and press the whole thing. I'm not going to show you me ironing it, but just take it away and press it so you get a good edge. And then we're going to top stitch. So you can still spend a little bit of time just rolling those edges, making sure they're sitting how you want them to, and then pin or clip along them. You can just go to the machine and sew them without clipping, but I think it's useful, especially because you're going to have to do it on this side anyway. So you've pressed those edges, so they should go where you want them to. The only problem is if you've got lots of layers, sometimes they don't want to go where you want them to. So just fold it and then clip all the way along. If when you look at it you're not happy with it, just redo it. You can see that bit's just dipped, that's better. And all the way along. And then either by hand or on the machine, you're going to top stitch. And you can see those pockets are going to be there. So how far in your top stitch is up to you. I go very near the edge, probably 1/8 of an inch, and I make my stitch length a little bit longer. I just think it looks better for top stitching. I'm still going to do my little bit of reverse at either end, and then just take yourself along. When you get to the hole, what you might find is it's trying to pop out and undo and what have you. Just take your time. I think it's always a good idea with top stitching to just take your time, but because you're going over so many layers and you're going over embellishments potentially, just do take your time. So I'm just going to sew the other side. Hope you're enjoying this, and I hope you're starting to see your journal coming together. It's quite exciting, isn't it, to watch it actually grow into something, instead of just being that piece of fabric you've been working on for several weeks. And then you can see I'm coming to the hole now, and I've spent a bit of time just pushing those edges in and making sure it's lying flat. And there we go. It's ready to make up into the slip cover. So yours should look something like that. So turn it over, get your notebook, place it on, and you'll see how it's going to look. And you can see, I'll try and show you on mine, how much you've got spare at top and bottom. And that's a personal preference. So now we just need to make the actual pockets that the book will go into. So we need to be able to open that book up and slide the back cover into the pocket. So all things being equal, you should fold it exactly along the edge of your front of your journal cover at the top and the bottom. And then do the same at the front of the cover. So we've done it at the back there, and now we're going to do it at the front. Just going to fold the lining back and either clip or pin it in place. Whatever you're doing, make sure you do it right at the edge, because you may not have a lot of space for this seam that you're going to do. So you don't want to pin or clip it somewhere else. You want to be really near the edge. And then the best thing I can recommend is put your book in. Now it's tricky, it's trying to slide out your clips, but just wiggle the book in. It's worth the time and effort. You don't want to sew the next step and then go, oh no. Now get the book in, check it closes, and check it closes properly, and that you're happy with how it all appears. If not, you can always make your pockets a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger. You'll just have a bit of the cover wrapped onto the inside or a little bit of the lining on the outside. It's more important that it fits at this point. So now we're going to sew those pockets in place, and as I say, really near the edge. I'm going to sew in the seam that's already there. Okay, so where I've done the top stitching, that's where I'm going to sew. And it's not easy, you've got a lot of layers. So the best advice I can give you is to take your time. You will see here that I can try and set off, but the fabric doesn't always want to feed, so I'm just going to lift the foot and go a step. Lift the foot and go a step, and I'm just persuading it to get started. And then I'm going to reverse, because it's really important that you do the reverse on these seams. These are going to be under a bit of strain because they're going to be holding the cover onto the book, so they need to be nice and secure. And you can see I just have to keep lifting the foot, inching it forwards to get it started. Now all the way along this little bit of seam, you have got a lot of layers, and depending how much you sewed on in your slow stitching, a heck of a lot of layers. So take your time, you don't want to be breaking any needles. So inch your way along, and then when you get right to the edge of the pocket, it's time to stop and some reverse again. Again, as I say, we want this nice and secure. Just lifting my foot because the corner has just popped up with the foot, and I don't want that. And then once you've done your reverse, and left the scissors over there, but look, I've managed to find my little ones, so it's not those giant ones that I've been using. You just snip those threads off or you leave them and do them all at the end. It is a personal preference. I tend to do them as I go along. And then repeat that for the other 3. Now, I've left it in but sped it up because I don't want to get you bored, but I did want you to see that I had trouble with most of these and had to keep lifting the foot. It's not you, it's not your machine, it's difficult. There's a lot of bulk. So just tootle along, nice and slow, and you'll get there. And then really, we're there. Unless you want to add any sort of detailing to the inner pockets, it's ready to use. And as you can see, for some of them I've got to sort of put the journal cover inside the machine, where normally I'd have it over the side of the machine. It takes a bit of thinking about when you're sewing like this sometimes, I think. So there we have it, all finished. Just got to put it on my book. So often you'll have to bend the book back a bit just to make it get in, because you want a nice snug fit widthwise once it's in. And then there you go. You've got your journal. You can go away, you can use it for whatever you want. So I was just going to talk to you a little bit at the end, just about different options, and I just hope you've enjoyed it, really.
So I hope you've got your journal made now. I really like mine, and I just wanted to have a little word about the fact that if you look in the journal I've just made, the cover is a little bit bigger than the actual journal, okay? And back to my diary, it's a really, really snug fit. So obviously you can adjust that by where you sew it when you're sewing round. So do make sure you focus on the step where you place the book inside the cover to make sure it fits. I hope you'll continue your slow stitching journey. I think I'm going to. I've always enjoyed cross stitch, which is a great way of slow stitching, and tapestries. So have a think, see what you might like, and I'll put on the screen something that you can go and have a look at. But there's so much out there, so enjoy your slow stitching journey.